don't know whether you've ever thought about it, but when it comes to things like technology and products to help people with disability, traditionally they have often been made by people who don't have a disability, but that is starting to change, and increasingly now people with disabilities are helping to design the products that they need. Nick Warren is Community Relations Manager with Solve Disability Solutions, which is a statewide assisted technology provider. Nick Warren, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, first of all, just to clarify, we're going to talk about a product that you've designed to help people who are visually impaired. You're not visually impaired, is that correct?
No, I'm not. I just work for the organization.
But your co-designer is?
Yes. So it's a nice segue from your last caller, actually, about the importance of the way that people with disability, for instance, degenerative vision, who might be able to try to navigate different domains. So, whether it's walking across the street, getting on a tram, or experiencing something like a museum, there's different types of technology that can help with that. And one of those is a multi-terrain cane tip, which we just designed in co-design with a woman with degenerative vision, using CAD design, 3D printer technology, and a combination of wheel and rotocasters to present and to offer omnidirectional use, so she's not getting stuffed in some of those hard to reach areas.
So this really came from her, didn't it? She came up with the problem and you worked with her on a solution. And if you weren't vision impaired, you'd never know that this was an issue.
Well, that's, I guess, the unique part about our organization. So Solve Disability Solutions has been around since 1975, and really it was founded on the idea of helping people with disability to come up with solutions for them that weren't commercially available. So you can go into a commercial store or provider and find things off the shelf, but the difference between what we create and the things that we modify is these are fit for person. So if someone comes to us with a disability, or maybe they're just an older person whose physical abilities might be depreciating, they come to us with a challenge and say, look, I've tried every cane on the market. They keep breaking. They don't work. And so they work with our technical volunteers and our allied health professionals, and we actually go into those places with them and then explore why the assistive technology isn't working. And then working with them, we work in co-design to come up with really innovative solutions that are fit for person. And that's I guess, the really standout part here, is it's not finding a product that's going to be suitable for you necessarily. It might be building a product that is intended for you and your different life domains.
And another person you've helped is Chris. Now, you helped him design, he wanted an exercise bike and he lives with autism, and you designed a custom Plucka Duck themed bike. Here's just a little bit of Chris talking about it.
Hi, my name's Christopher Pike. I'm 28 and I have autism. The last time I remember having a bike was probably 8 or 9 years old, and I think the bike broke and I never got another one. So a bike like this would be absolutely incredible, and I really appreciate people going out of their way to help me like that.
So what did you do with Chris? I know because I've seen a little video, which is where that little clip is taken from, but tell us about the story of Chris.
Yeah, so Chris is, he's 28 years old. He lives in regional Victoria. And Chris originally came to us. He has autism spectrum disorder, and he was also quite overweight. And one of his goals was to lose weight and get more active and get out into his community. And so we had to look at how he might be able to do that. Now, he was very much against going to a gym, wasn't really that keen on exercise. But what we did notice when we visited Chris was he was a mad Hey It's Saturday fan. Plucka Ducks everywhere, like floor to ceiling. So we looked at the things that were intrinsically motivating for him, and then combined that with a physical activity. So anybody who would have watched Hey would have remembered the Plucka Duck bicycle that generated the Plucka Ducks to go around in a circle, and then you pull one of the Plucka Ducks off. We've taken that concept and integrated it with an exercise bike because Chris is naturally motivated by Plucka Duck. So we've taken some of his plushies, and then our technical volunteers have worked very hard to come up with an almost exact replica that allows him to build up his physical capacity. Now from that, about a year after he started exercising with that, he called us back and said, hey, I've been doing really well. I've lost a bit of weight, but I really want to get out into the community. So now we've worked with Chris, and we've given him an assessment and then prescribed him a custom trike. And now he's actually going out in the community. He's cycling. He's visiting rail trails because he loves railroads. He's even got a dog that now he can walk by himself. So it's really about capacity building, looking at something that you want to do in a short term towards a long-term goal of greater independence.
Just explain to me again about the Plucka Duck bike, because what was the connection between being on the bike and the incentive with the Plucka Ducks?
Yeah, so it's the intrinsic motivation. So it's the things that naturally excite Chris. It's the things that naturally get him to want to get up on a bike. So some people can motivate themselves to get on an exercise bike. Other people require a bit of motivation. I mean, I know when I do exercise, I like music in my ears. I like, watching someone on, doing maybe dancing on television, and that helps me pass the time. So I'm naturally interested in the event or engaged in an event in a way that excites me. So for someone with autism, and if Chris sees, Plucka Duck anything, he's going to grab it. He's going to want to participate in it. And so it really was about intrinsic motivation for him.
Why is it that so often it seems that the products that are there to help people with a disability are not designed with the help of the end user? You obviously are very familiar with the industry. Why has that only been changing more recently?
Well, some of the products that are available on the market are inherited, so they've been around for a while. They maybe haven't been innovated, or there hasn't been newer versions with them. Also because sometimes people just take what they can get. And so they look in a catalog and say, oh, this is the best I can do. We at Solve, we know we can do better than that. And we help over 500 people a year who come to us with various challenges, whether they've tried everything on the market and none of them have worked, or sometimes people come to us right off the bat because they just need some advice on finding exactly the right product. If it's commercially available and it'll work, that's great. But if for some reason you need it modified, whether it's a little bit of a tweak so that something that was working 80% of the way now works 100% of the way, or if it's just not available, our team of technical engineers and allied health professionals work together in co-design with the person to create something, sometimes from the ground up, which is really, really exciting and a really fun process.
Nick, it must be incredibly expensive and not very accessible for most people, I would imagine.
Actually, on that, because I've mentioned a few times, the volunteers, the technical volunteers. So we've got a combination of paid workforce and volunteers. Our paid workforce we've got an engineer and some allied health professionals, but then the technical side of it is volunteers. So that allows us to actually come in at a much lower cost. Because they donate their time. So the participant or the person with disability is actually paying for the materials and the allied health service, but the volunteers are generally volunteering their time. So what might cost tens of thousands of dollars if you went to a design firm is going to be much more accessible from a company like Solve. The other thing is that we're an NDIS provider. So people with disability who are on the NDIS have budgets for things like assistive technology, and they can use those budgets to come to an organization like us. And if you're not on the NDIS, we do have people who are on TAC. We have people that self-fund. We have aged care packages. And we also have grants and the generous donations of people who donate to an organization who want to support Solve Disability Solutions.
And Nick, we've talked about two examples. One was the bike for Chris, but also the cane. What are some other problems that people have presented you with?
A variety of things. It can be in different life domains. We've got people who've had trouble finding the right office equipment so that they can get into meaningful employment and actively participate and perform to the level that they want. We've had people that have had things around the house, say, for instance, a support pole to get out of bed, things to be able to shower independently so they can maintain independence and dignity, custom ramps and rails. Everyone's home and an apartment is quite unique. Not everybody owns their home, so they might not be able to make lots of modifications, but there are options and opportunities that Solve Disability Solutions would be really keen to explore. If you've got a challenge or something's just not working the way you want it to, give us a call. Talk to one of our friendly staff. See what we can do, and one of our friendly volunteers will come out and have a look. Yeah,
look, Nick, it sounds like an ad, but I think it's a terrific business. And if you can get volunteers to come and help you with the development of the technology to solve problems, that can only be a good thing. Nick Warren there, Community Relations Manager with Solve.